Good morning, everyone. Can I have your undivided attention?
Yeah.
It's not loud?
It's not loud.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Can I have your undivided attention? I'm Elder Reggie, one of the members, of the New Orleans International Voodoo Organization. I first like to honor the sponsors of today's event. I'd like to honor La Source, Arsene Humphone, Plessy Ferguson Initiative, the House of Divine Prince.com, Our Sacred Stories.com, New Orleans City Council member Freddie King III, the law firm of McGlinchey and Stafford, Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, and Shrine of the White Cloth. I'd like to do a libation to those men who marched on July 30, 1866. And I'd like to also include in that libation your presence being with us today, that your ancestors bless you, continue to protect you, for showing up at events like this and events in the future. We appreciative. Stand, please stand. Odumakoma, Unyankapa, Sogbo my release, Judge Jehovah, Ra, Buddha, Kantanka, and all the appellations that you are known by. We are grateful. We are grateful for today. We are grateful for each and every person that's amongst us today. Bless them. Bless them. Sasiya Mama, we give thanks and honor for standing on your presence today. Mama Win, we give thanks and presence for the temperatures, the cool air, and on this hot day to keep us cool. Mama Water, we give thanks for the water bodies of the Mississippi, Lake Pontchartrain, Calm, the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean down, and all the water and tributaries that protect this city of New Orleans. We give thanks. We give honor to the ancestors of those in the past, those in the present. We give thanks. We ask all the ancestors to be amongst us today as we move through the four cardinal directions, north, south, east, West. We give thanks and honor with water. We offer hard drink to all the spirits that fight on our behalf, all the other world beings. We offer you drink. Peace. We offer the ancestors on behalf of each and every person cross, sweet drink. Please, everyone, just take a minute and focus on yourself. Love thyself. Sweetness. Sweetness in everyone's life that showed up today. Sweetness, sweetness, sweetness. Ashe, 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 ashe. Oh, we give thanks. Before I begin the program, I still want to give another thanks. That's all I have on the mic. I still like to give another thanks for you guys. It means a lot to me. I worked with the New Orleans Fire Department for 30 years, and almost every night at the fire station, I had a book. I just read any and everything that came across my path. And so I have stored knowledge. And some of this energy I wanted to give out once I retired. I retired in 2023 from the New Orleans Fire Department. And so when I retired, I was able to become the person I wanted to be, meaning I could do for my community, I could do for myself. And becoming a member of the New Orleans at that time, National Voodoo Day, allowed me a platform. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that. With that, I'd like to begin today's program. And it's very important for me to know that President Abraham Lincoln, in 1864, in order for Louisiana to be allowed back into the Union from seceding and being part of the Confederate, he put out a letter to, at the time, Governor Michael Hahn, in reference to men who fought in the war, right to vote. And I like to read this particular letter, and it's penned from our great president, Abraham Lincoln. Executive Mansion, Washington, D.C., March 13, 1864. Honorable Michael Hahn, my dear sir, I congratulate you to have fixed your name in history as the first free state governor of Louisiana. Now you're about to have a convention, which among other things will probably define the elective franchise right to vote. I barely suggest for your private consideration whether some of the colored people may be not let in. As for instance, the very intelligent, and especially those who fought gallantly in our ranks. They will probably help in some trying time to come to keep the jewel of liberty within the family of freedom, right to vote. But this is only a suggestion, not a public, not for the public, but for yours alone. Yours truly, Abraham Lincoln. With that, I'd like to begin the program. I'd like Attorney Janie Green to come up and speak, please.
Good job, Daddy. All right.
That's it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. My voice is pretty loud, but you can hear me all the way in the back. Oh, yeah, okay. All the way in the back. But yes, my name is Jana Green. I am the proud daughter of Elder Diop Reggie Green, and I'm just very happy and humbled and proud to be here today with the National Voodoo Society. So just looking out of all of your beautiful faces, I just wanted to start there. Oh, yes, please. More specifically, to speak about the Louisiana Constitution of 1864, which inevitably led to the horrific New Orleans 1866 massacre. Oh, we roll. The era from the beginning of Reconstruction to the end of the 19th century was one of the most violent and corrupt times in Louisiana's history. Efforts at restoring Louisiana to the Union as an inclusive, equitable, more gentle society were repeatedly stifled by white supremacists. Their successes meant the return of white home rule by the Democratic Party, the coming of Jim Crow, and the ruthless exploitation of most Louisianians. However, in 1864, General Nathaniel Banks summoned a convention to write a constitution according to President Lincoln's plan for amnesty and reconstruction. Meeting in Liberty Hall in 1864, the Louisiana Constitutional Convention lasted 4 months. Significantly, the Constitution broke from the past and provided 4 pivotal articles. And if you will bear with me, I will read those 4 pivotal articles. Article 1, slavery and invalid servitude. Well, we're good? Okay. Article 1, slavery and invalid servitude. I want you guys to hear this, so hold on. Again, Article 1, slavery and involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, are hereby forever abolished and prohibited throughout the state. Article 14, every white male who has attained the age of 21 years and who has been a resident of the state 12 months next preceding the election and the last 3 months thereof in the parish in which he offers to vote, and who shall be a citizen of the United States, shall have the right of voting. Article 15, the legislature shall have power. Please take note of that. Did not give, but the legislature shall have power to pass laws extending suffrage to such other persons, citizens of the United States, as by military service, by taxation to support the government, or by intellectual fitness may be deemed entitled thereto. And lastly, Article 16, no voter on removing from one parish to another within the state shall lose the right of voting in the former until he shall have acquired it in the latter. Electors shall in all cases, electors being those with the ability to vote, except treason, felony, or breach of the peace, shall be privileged from arrest during their attendance at, going to, or returning from elections. Those were 4 pivotal articles from the original 1864 Louisiana Constitution. But significantly in those articles, from Article 1, again, it abolished slavery prior to the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. So it was significant because it was Louisiana was one of the first states in rejoining the Union to abolish slavery. 2, the 1864 Constitution granted the right to vote to all white males. However, again, as I stated earlier, it only authorized but did not give the state legislature the right to grant voting rights to black men who fought for the Union, owned property, or were literate. The Constitution of 1864 was vehemently condemned by Black Louisianians because it failed to provide any voting rights for any person of color. This caused frustration among abolitionists and free people and revealed the deep resistance to racial equality in Louisiana. To add insult to injury, in 1865, Louisiana joined other southern states in enacting black codes to disenfranchise black people, greatly angering radical Republicans who had supported the Union during the Civil War and promoted full citizenship rights for black people. Finally, in 1866, black and white radical Republicans planned to reopen the insufficient 1864 State Constitutional Convention with the goals to expand civil rights for African Americans. Thank you. Particularly 1, granting black men the right to vote, and 2, increasing protections for freed men. Although the 1864 Louisiana Constitution was the catalyst for the ill-fated 1866 Reconvention, it must be remembered for a number of things. 1, it exposed the fierce resistance to black civil rights in the South. 2, It paved the way for Louisiana's more progressive 1868 state constitution. And 3, it played a major role in shifting national Reconstruction policy toward a more aggressive, federally enforced approach, which, as we know, resulted in the 14th Amendment, wherein former slaves were granted citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, wherein Black men were finally granted the long-last right to vote. While the 1864 Louisiana Constitution was only a limited step forward, it laid the defining groundwork for Black people during the harrowing days of Louisiana Reconstruction. Therein is where its glory forever lies. Thank you.
This is for you.
Okay, thank you.
That's a Native Guard soldier.
Okay. All right, thank you. Oh,
Well, get him out there. Get him out. All right, let me just come out and release if you're ready.
Okay.
Let me introduce you,
Hold on,
please.
give me a second. Okay.
The reason we are here, the reason the men march, Ty, Divine Prince, will shed some light on that. Thank you, Ty.
Greetings, everyone. I'm here to speak as a voice for the freedmen. The New Orleans Massacre of 1866 was a pivotal event in the Reconstruction era of the United States. It occurred on July 30th, 1866, and involved a mob of white rioters attacking a peaceful demonstration of mostly Black freedmen. The violence was a response to the recently passed Black Code and the desire to extend voting rights to freedmen. The massacre resulted in the death of 38 people, with a significant number of Black freedmen casualties. This event was the catalyst for the radical Republicans to gain a majority in the 1866 midterm elections, leading to more aggressive Reconstruction policies. The massacre highlighted the deep-seated conflicts and racial tension that existed in Louisiana during this period. A pivotal player was in the political tensions that contributed to the atmosphere surrounding the 1866 New Orleans riot. A radical Republican leader and advocate for universal male suffrage, Durant led a faction of pro-union individuals, including free Blacks and transplanted whites, who opposed the congressional recognition of Louisiana's free state government because its constitution did not guarantee universal male suffrage. He lobbied radical Republicans, which ultimately led to the Wade Davis bill, requiring a majority of white voters to swear an oath of allegiance to the Constitution for readmission to the Union. This advocacy for broader suffrage, particularly for Black men, created a significant fixture within the pro-union efforts and strained alliances between white and Black unionists, contributing to the already tense political climate in Louisiana. And while not directly instigating the riot, the radical Republicans in Louisiana reconvened the Constitutional Convention in 1864, a key event leading to the riots, in part fueled by the desire to expand suffrage and address issues like Black codes, according to the African American Registry. The subsequent attack on this convention by former Confederates and the subsequent attack on the convention by former Confederates and the New Orleans police sparked the violence. Therefore, while Durant was not physically present at the riots, his leadership in the movement advocating for universal male suffrage and challenging the established power structure of the Free State government contributed to the political and racial tensions that erupted into the violence during 1866 New Orleans riot. So who were the freedmen? In 1866, the freedmen of Louisiana referred to formerly enslaved people who had gained their freedom following the American Civil War. And specifically in Louisiana, this group included those newly freed from slavery, as well as refugees and dependents who were under the care of the Freedmen's Bureau, a federal agency established to aid formerly enslaved people. This term specifically denoted individuals who had been enslaved and were now legally free. In Louisiana, the Freedmen's Bureau played a crucial role in assisting freedmen by providing food, shelter, medical care, and other necessities. The Bureau also extended its services to white refugees, those who were dependent on the government for support due to the war. 1866 was a pivotal year in Louisiana, marked by significant political and social upheaval as the state transitioned from slavery to a new social order. The Freedmen's Bureau was actively involved in the transition, attempting to establish a new system of labor and social relations. And in essence, the freedmen of Louisiana in 1866 represented a diverse group of individuals, both black and white, who were navigating the challenges and opportunities of a society undergoing profound change. And before I close, I want to share a Louisiana freedman's statement. Statement of Louisiana freedmen in Bienville Parish, Louisiana, August 18, 1866. Green Jones, colored man, lives on the plantation of John Reagan's 6 miles south of Ringgold, makes the following statement of outrages committed on him and others on Monday night, August 13th, by men unknown to him. On Monday night, I was waked up by some men shooting into my house. I jumped up and tried to get away, but they caught me and threatened to blow my brains out if I moved an inch. They took John Gordon and Henry Clay with me. Felix Dixon got under the floor and made his escape. They took us about 20 yards from my house and whipped Gordon first, laid down on the They must have given me 300 lashes. They cut me up badly and kicked me in the face. Bruises and wounds exhibited. When they were through, they asked me if I could be obedient to every little white child and could call every white man and woman master and mistress, and raise my hat to every white man I met, never to leave home without a pass. They then told me I had to sell my horses, and they would not allow Negroes to have horses. They must get into some white man's yard for protection. That they would not allow Negroes to live off to themselves. They said they would be round once a week. I can't say that I knew any of them, but believe Robert and John Carr were among them, almost certain they were. Henry Clay got away. They fired 2 shots but did not hit him. I have rented part of Mr. Reggins, I believe he meant Reagan's place, and have cultivated it on my own account. There was 8 or 10 men. I can't say whether Mr. Reagan's had any hand in whipping us or not. Had a difficulty with Mr. Reagan some time ago, but thought that was settled. My house is about 300 yards from his. Statement of Green Jones, 18th of August, 1866, enclosed in Captain N.B. Blayton to Captain A.F. Hayden's 31st of August, 1866, B-52, 1866, letters received, series 1756, Department of Gulf, U.S. Army Continental Command's Record Group 393, Part 1, National Archives. Captain Napoleon B. Blayton's Freemen's Bureau's agent for Bienville Parish certified that the statement accurately represented what Jones had said, and an adjutant to the headquarters of the Department of Golf attested to the fidelity of this.
Thanks again, Divine Prince. Divine Prince spoke of the free men. These was men that was free by the Emancipation Proclamation after the war. Now we're going to bring up Sister Denise of our story. She's going to speak on free men. These was men who was free before the Emancipation Proclamation. A lot of those men lived in this particular area that we are standing on now. 2 blocks up the road, Dolphine and Carver was a school. It was Catholic School of the Indigent. Some call it Marie Cuba School. It was a free men of color think tank. Some of the brightest minds at that time. Some of the men that went personally and met with Abraham Lincoln to ask for the right of the vote lived in this particular area. Now we bring on Sister Denise.
Thank you. So long before any American and the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, we had a community of free men of color, literate, wealthy, business owners, men who had fought in the militia to protect this area under the Spanish, men who fought in the Revolutionary War, men who fought in the Battle of New Orleans of 1815. These young free men of color would go to Paris to be educated, as in Dr. Louis Charles Martinez, who went to the University of Paris, came back to America, and went to Dartmouth to get his cardiology degree. Men like Norbert Rillieux, born right here in New Orleans, went to Paris to be educated, came back and founded the way to still use wall. They proved themselves over and over again to be good citizens. They were your architects as the Dolio brothers. If you pass the corner of Esplanade and Decatur and you look at the building to my right and your left, that building was built by a black man. The Dolio brothers were architects. When you walk into the St. Louis Cathedral, the floor of the St. Louis Cathedral was put down by a black man, a free man of color by the name of Eugene Warburg. We know that there's rape, but in this community there was also romance. And these are descendants of Frenchmen and black women who were allowed to inherit their father's businesses. Eugene Warburg inherited a whole, he and his brother inherited a whole marble studio and was able to put the floor down in the St. Louis Cathedral. That floor is still there. We furniture makers, bricklayers, goldsmiths, silversmiths, painters, cigar factory owners. Dr. Charles Martinez, born in 1823, who would found the first black French-speaking newspaper in the South called La Union. In 1864, he founded La Tribune, La Nouvelle d'Orléans, La Tribune newspaper that was the first bilingual newspaper in the South. Paul Trevine, who was at Marie Couvent School to speak to the marchers prior to them leaving was the editor of this newspaper. And he said in this newspaper, it would be selfish, and this is paraphrasing, it would be selfish for some of us to have the vote, some black men to have the right to vote and others not. They proved themselves over and over again. After 1803, because these black people had almost the same rights as whites, we played in the operas. We also had seats in those theaters equal to white men. Americans had never seen a group of people that were black who had those rights, and this made them suspicious, and especially of armed black men in a militia. So as soon as the Louisiana Purchase happened, white lawmakers started passing the first of numerous legal restrictions enacted against free people of color under American rule. These laws made manumission more difficult, whereas under Spanish rule, there was a law called Cartación, which said if you could afford to purchase your own freedom, you could go free. Over 2,000 people went free under Spanish rule. Also, when you read the records,
I would like to say I want to give Sally Glassman and Elder Reggie Macaroon and myself wonderful thank you for making this occur, and also Divine Prince. So it is touching my heart to see we are still right in the moment, and it is up to us to share the information of truth. So thank you so much. Of course,
The beloved Camille. Stop.
Unable to make a list of the martyrs. Please give yourself a round of applause. I am so emotional. I am so grateful. I am so humble for this moment. Thank you, guys. I love you.